What's up, everyone? Mike from What the Fun. This debate section is from our latest episode of Test Your Might, the weekly video game debate show. The full episode is found on any podcast app of choice, with Apple and Spotify links down below. Thanks for watching. Enjoy.
On to the third debate topic. Brian, you are in charge for this one if you'd like to go first or second. But with new rhythm games on the horizon, pitch me the best, I said it, the best rhythm game of all time. And create a custom controller. We know you love to do this. A custom controller to reboot or remake that game for the current generation. Would you like to go first or second, Brian?
I'll go first on this one. I have one I'm pretty excited about, so
okay.
Don't want to risk Cicero taking it.
Whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I think when we go back to rhythm games, we got to go back to what is arguably the first big rhythm game. We got to go back to Parappa the Rapper. We have not seen one of these games since like 2000. They are classics. They are dear to my heart. They are goofy. They are upbeat, which, considering how our world is, sounds pretty nice, honestly. And I think I even know who we should have be the star for it. Which is like, I think we should get like an actual contemporary rapper to kind of be the voice of Parappa the Rapper. And I feel like Chance is the one that makes the most sense. Chance, between Coloring Book and Acid Rap, has had like a lot of good vibe albums. He's done a lot of crossover with other artists, which you could pull into that as well. And considering that, you know, Just Dance is popular enough to have its own Olympic event at this point, I think we just need to, you know, start opening up the realms to expand that as well. As for the custom controller, we have not had a controller that is just like, you know, a headset like you would use as like a performer. We've just had like the mic back in Rock Band, which you have to hold with your hand, right? So I'm thinking you get a headset and you get some stuff that like you use for like Just Dance, right? And then you can do that full performance, right? You can be the rapper up there with those good vibes. And instead of hearing your mediocre voice, it gives you chances instead, which is probably a good idea. Speaking for myself. Yeah, so that's where I'm going.
All right. Parappa the Rapper. Hopefully he didn't steal your Cicero.
No, he did not. He did not. He did not steal mine. Those are good vibes. But we want the best vibes. We the best. And if you want the best vibes, then you got to go with the best rhythm game of all time, and that is DJ Hero. And what you're going to do with DJ Hero to reboot it is we're not going to take a DJ per se. We're going to take the Loop Daddy himself, Mark Rebele, and we're going to have DJ Hero presents Loop Daddy's Loop Tricks. And the console, the controller is going to be, so you're going to have your turntable like you had before, right? And the crossfader, but you're also going to have punch pads to layer more beats in. So you'll be able to blend in your own beats and be like the Loop Daddy himself and create brand new songs. So not only will you be able to play the rhythm part of the game with all the songs that are mixed and matched in there, but you're also going to be able to create your own stuff that people will be able to listen to.
All right. Have at it, guys.
Yeah, you know, I like me some EDM, you know, from time to time.
Okay.
It is, you know, there are communities I'm involved in where that is a regular soundtrack, let us say. But EDM's just not as popular as rap, is the reality. Like, if you want to talk about something that people get, like, stoked about, like, I mean, rap has had, like, material consequences in the world in a way that EDM just hasn't. Like, I like Modest Mouse, I like some way more indie ones that I listen to on, you know, Bandcamp. But, like, the reality is, like, rap has fundamentally reshaped culture, it has fundamentally reshaped fashion. And I mean, the East Coast West Coast rivalry as well has fundamentally changed, like, literal relationships between cities. Right. And I think kind of pulling into that tradition is going to hook a lot more people. I think in terms of like yours is kind of almost feels more like a DLC to DJ Hero to me. It reminds me a bit of when they did like the Aerosmith, I think it was for Rock Band, right? Where like added some characters in a bunch of their songs, and like it feels like you're adding, like you're almost like modding the controller, right? You're not really creating something. It's almost more like a mod. It feels hooked on to me.
So here's the thing: it's fundamentally a newer controller, and what you're missing, right? And I appreciate the fact that you're talking about EDM, and that's great. But what you're displaying, Brian, is the fact that you've never played DJ Hero. So you don't know what the music in DJ Hero was like. So that music, there was some EDM, but a lot of it actually was disco, R&B, hip hop. So it's about what DJs did, blending those songs, right? As someone who grew up in New York in the 80s, listening to the radio, the DJs on there would make their own mixes. And that's where all of that mix and that EDM culture kind of grew from these DJs. And Mark Rebillet takes all of that stuff right now and he creates his own music, just randomly listening to music. So we'll have that element of it where we're actually creating stuff right on the fly. We're using different instruments and different things and creating the loops, and then being able to blend that in with other music that is already licensed for the game. And then we'll be doing our DJ blends while we're playing the game with the scratches and the mixes. All of those things were criminally underrated in the first game, but then adding the element of creation and then adding instruments. So that's part of it also, is when you're playing the game, you'll have to successfully hit the buttons for the right loops and get all of that, get the timing down for that stuff. All of that will add an element of newness to a game that needed some fresh looks and fresh eyes. I agree. Parappa is awesome, and adding Chance, making Chance Parappa, that'd be really cool, and you'll be able to tell a great story. But the cool thing about Parappa originally was being able to use the button presses to kind of remix the things that you were saying. But with your new controller where you're actually talking, I don't know that you'll be able to do that again, do that in the same way. And then additionally, what happens when the game is over? You know, like Parappa the Rapper was 90 minutes. And then once that 90 minutes was over, like, okay, I could do it again, and that's awesome. But you're not going to get the same type of rhythm game fun and party game fun, which is half of the fun of rhythm games with your Parappa reboot than you would with my DJ Hero reboot.
Yeah, the thing is, like, I'm glad you mentioned earlier, like, how criminally underrated DJ Hero is, because I think that points out an interesting thing, which is it didn't sell. Like, it didn't do the kind of numbers that Guitar Hero
was ahead of its time.
I mean,
it was ahead of its time.
You could make that same argument with Parappa, and it still got sequels, right? Like DJ Hero hasn't.
DJ Hero got a sequel.
Like that studio. Oh, did it? Yeah. DJ Hero 2 come out? I didn't even hear about it.
DJ Hero 2 came out.
Take that back.
And yes, and there was also a DJ game that premiered with the new Xbox Series.
There's a 3DS game as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm a big fan of sampling. Like, we should definitely talk that scene after this call, honestly. But at the end of the day, I don't think the greatest rhythm game of all time is going to be something that derivative of a previous project. I think it's going to have to be taking something that people have fond memories of, like Parappa, and then doing something fundamentally different with it. Because again, like, what you're talking about is building on a good game. It is not revolutionizing anything. And the best X game of all time is rarely a game that was just a dang good one of those.
Well, one of the reasons that Minecraft is so popular is because you can create. And I think you're fundamentally changing a game that was a great rhythm game by adding the ability to create your own music on top of that. Think about the people, who we could discover as a result of playing Mark Rebelay's Loop Daddy DJ Hero game, right? Because they managed to create some beat that they were able to use and put on TikTok, and now it's a big TikTok song, and now they're on, they're on Kelly Clarkson's show or whatever, like, because of...
I think you're optimistic about how the music industry works if you think that's actually how people get big.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know. It's time to change. It's time for a paradigm shift, and this game could be the vanguard of a complete paradigm shift in music creativity.
And so they're going to deal with the inevitable issues involving copyright and ownership of this how?
Hey, look, that's for the lawyers to figure out. Right now,
well, you got to figure out the law stuff though before you make a game.
Let the creators create.
So you got to tell me how you're not going to get someone sued out of this.
Let the creators create. The game is licensed. It's licensed already. That music is licensed. All of that stuff is already done. That's taken care of.
But then the people who produce that, do they own what they produce, or does the studio?
They get points. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
They get points. So
yeah.
Isn't that whole points thing what you were just complaining about?
Okay. All right. Great job, guys. Seriously, I was twitching when it was stated that DJ Hero was just EDM. Because Metallica, Lady Gaga, Chamillionaire, there's Dead Mouse, there's so many different mixes in DJ Hero. You know what? I think the hardest hit that I heard was when Cicero brought up the way to control Parappa the Rapper and how you're fundamentally changing it with your voice instead of button pressing. That's huge. That's going to take away from what people remember Parappa the Rapper being. Could be good, could be bad. On the other hand, Cicero is adding a feature to a game that was, in my opinion, ahead of its time, which he stated, and not fundamentally changing the gameplay at all, adding to it as a feature you could use if you're interested. And look at me. I was not interested in DJ Hero. And I walked in a Best Buy and my head started bumping when I started playing.
Yeah.
And I bought the game and enjoyed it. Likewise, I had Parappa the Rapper as well, but I remember it being button pressing. So, I don't know. I'm going to give it to Cicero on this one. I think that looping it, adding that feature, could bring it back and possibly be the right time to do so. Not fundamentally changing the controller incredibly, but adding a few buttons, a few things here and there to really modernize it. I like that. Cicero for the win.
Thank you.
That's 2 for Cicero and 1 for you, Brian.